Hey guys, Naveen here, back with another Acura RDX video. That's my trusty sidekick Austin. It's 9:30 at night right now. We just got back from AutoZone because we needed some engine oil. And this kid weaseled me for another toy. Show him your toy. What'd you get? Turn it on. What is that? You got an automotive flashlight.
It shines here and here, and there's a magnet.
Turn it on. See how bright that thing is. Holy crap, that's bright. Okay. Let's see here. What are we gonna do? Oh, we are doing scheduled maintenance. So, let's take a look at our car here. So, as you can see, I'm making 14 miles per gallon. By the way, if you guys are looking at an RDX because it has good gas mileage, they lie to you. It does not get 22 or 25 or 27 miles, whatever the hell they promise you. It gets 14 miles per gallon. This is absolutely horrible. Sometimes if I'm lucky I get 17 or 18, and it's not because I drive really fast everywhere. I only do that sometimes. Unless you live somewhere where there are no stop signs or no red lights, you can expect to get pretty shitty gas mileage. I happen to live in New York, so there's plenty of traffic here, so that's probably why.
Meow.
And Austin says meow. Also, alright, back to the good stuff. So, little wheel here. Let's see this info. So, scheduled maintenance. I am past due 366 miles. Do not judge me. I probably should have done this a while ago. But in this particular situation, none of these letters or numbers are anything detrimental to the car, assuming you have a well taken care of car. So I'll show you where to go to see what they mean. So, little touchpad here. Now, if you don't already know what they mean, you can go to settings. I always forget where to go. Vehicle. And then you go down to maintenance information. So, B127 means, as you can see, my oil life is at 0% already because I'm almost 400 miles past due. These are just mileage counters. It doesn't mean that I have no oil. It doesn't mean that my oil is burnt. It's just a reminder of, when to change your oil and do scheduled maintenance. Some of these actually work by an algorithm, so the car knows how hard you drive or, how aggressive you are. And, especially if you're in a dusty climate, it'll tell you to change your filters more often because it also knows by GPS. I don't know how I know this, but I think I read it about it somewhere. So B means you change your oil and filter. Number 1 is tire rotation. Oh, come back. Number 2 is air filters. Now they don't specify this, but this is your engine intake filter as well as your cabin pollen filters. Austin, I'm trying to film over here. What are you weeing about? And then 7 is change your brake fluid. So pretty fun little day we're gonna have ahead of us tomorrow, and I'll try to take you guys through all of these and hope it helps somebody. So I'll start filming a little bit more tomorrow when I get the car up on jack stands. Okay, spoke too soon. Since Austin has a new flashlight, he wants to make some more video content right now. So we have in this trunk a big bunch of nothing. Get out of there. Get out of there. We have some motor oil from our previously mentioned trip to AutoZone. This car calls for 020. Got Castrol Edge because they were all sold out of Mobile 1, right? Yeah. And let's see what we got here. What should we do? Little garage door opener here. Alright. see what we got in here. The race car. Alright, so I should mention this car is leased, and what sucks about Acura is that they don't do any maintenance for you. They expect you to do it yourself or bring it to them to do it and pay them. Unlike some other car companies that cover maintenance because they don't want people to just avoid it completely and then give back a trashed car. So, being that I don't want to void the warranty, and I may buy the car when the lease is over, I'm doing everything right. Oddly enough, this filter, the dealership gave me an aftermarket one because supposedly it's on back order, but that's the part number of the OEM one. This is the engine intake filter. This is the cabin air filter, which prevents pollen and dust and crap from going into your nostrils. Right in there, right in there, right in there. So we're gonna put this in because it's probably the easiest thing to do, and we're gonna use Austin's new little flashlight. So basically I got the two filters, the oil filter, there's the part number on this guy. A02 are the newer generation Honda filters, and they're much better than the A01, I think it was. For some reason, I don't know why, don't really care. Here's the part number on the pollen filter. And so all this stuff I paid just under $100 for from my local Acura dealership, plus the motor oil was $35. I'll go over this stuff in more detail later. But hey, get that magnet off of my car, dude. Crazy kid. Okay, you're not in trouble. Let's go. Oh, I forgot the filter. All right, here you go. You want to open that up? Here, you film me. I'll open it. You're the cameraman. Go. All right, back to the car we go. Okay, go to the car. Put that inside later. You want to go to the driver's side?
Yeah. Driver's seat.
Ready? Okay, turn on your flashlight. You gonna use that little thing or the bright side? All right. Okay, so your pollen filter goes in your glove box. So point that in there. Camera person, come here. You got a clean view over here? Want to point this more this way, maybe? In there, so I can see what I'm doing? All right. So first you take all your crap out. Owner's manual, other crap. Then there's this little tray right here. See this little tray? You give it a little wiggle, it comes out. Go back in there. So these two little tabs right here, that's where your pollen filter is. You have to stick your finger in there, in these two little holes. Give me that. I stole the flashlight from Austin because he's not really holding it where I need it to be. So let's place this in here. This is actually convenient. Does that mess up the camera at all? It does? Alright, I'll do this with one hand. So, can you see the holes? There's two little holes here. You stick your finger there, you pop them out. There's this little lid here. Careful not to break the tabs. And then, can you see in there still? There's a tab here, and a tab here, and that just comes out. Easy as that. And that already looks dirty as hell.
So, and broken too. So we're gonna pull this up. There's a label on here that says flow going downward. And I don't think this aftermarket filter has anything on it. It's pretty stupid. I don't know why something as stupid as this would be on back order. Probably has something to do with COVID and factories closed and whatnot. But let's just compare. So it is pretty dirty. This is all the crap that goes through your vents and you breathe it in. Let's just compare these guys. I don't see why one would be a top and one would be a bottom, because it looks identical on both sides. But I'm just gonna say by the look of these ridges that the open part is the top. So just shove this guy back in here, and it's as easy as that. And the dealer probably would have charged you about 150 bucks for that. And I'm doing this with one hand. So that's done. Put this little cover back in. Where are the hooks? Where are the hooks? You put the top hooks in first and then press the bottom into place. And then you can take your little shelf. It actually says removable on it, so you know that you didn't break it. Put the shelf back in place. And then put all your crap back into place. And you're done. Here you go, child. We probably need more sunlight for the rest of the stuff, but that was easy. And this goes in the garbage. Okay, I just realized I was wrong. It's the engine filter that has been replaced with an aftermarket one. This one that we just put in, we took out of a factory bag, and that new one did not say Honda on it with part numbers, so that's pretty dumb. I feel a little bit gypped because when I buy OEM parts, I want them to be marked up with part numbers and whatnot. So that kind of didn't make any sense why the new one didn't have any markings on it whatsoever, but it was inside of a Honda bag. That is very odd. And I actually walked into a dealership and bought these parts, so it's not like I ordered them from an online store. These came from an actual Acura dealership. So chuck it in the garbage, dude. The thing's dirty. Yeah, all right. Well, tomorrow we'll do the engine intake filter, some brake fluid, and some motor oil. And I'll discuss the other things that are needed to be checked with this particular maintenance number. Yep, it's morning time. That doesn't look too great, but that does. So, what are we gonna do here? We are going to situate the car a little differently so we could put it up on jack stands, and let's see what we're working with here. Pop the trunk open. I like to use my trunk as a little workspace for all the fun things I'm gonna do. So, let's see what we got here. Filter. What are we gonna do first? Maybe the oil? I don't know. Sure, why not? This is really hard to carry stuff and film with one hand. The tricky part is going to be figuring out how to get that thing up in the air on all four corners using those four things, those two things, and my 3-ton jack, which is kind of low profile because it's really used for this little car. And the two red jack stands are garbage, so they don't really help hold the truck in the air completely. So be right back. I'll figure this out and start filming again. Alright, so this is the contraption so far, in case anybody else wants to figure this out with limited capabilities. So I rolled the front up on ramps, and then I have this little wooden platform built that I used as a riser for my low profile jack. There's a jack point right there. So I was able to jack up the rear and put it on 6-ton jack stands, because the little red ones won't get the car in the air at all. So now I'm going to take this whole contraption out of here and put it in the front and get the front in the air without the ramps. Unfortunately, that'll be unsafe to do an oil change, but it should let me get the brakes bled. And then when I do the oil change, I'll put the front back on the ramps to make it safer. Alright, so that worked pretty well. Got the front up just high enough to take the ramps out, but we'll leave them there for now. So part of this maintenance is a tire rotation, so I'll guide you through that. You want to film for me? If you have an all-wheel drive model, the proper procedure is you take the back wheels and you just put them forward, and you take the front wheels and you put them back, but you crisscross them. So that front wheel goes to that side and that front wheel comes to this side. So yeah, pretty simple, as long as you can get the whole car in the air. There you go, hold this. Come to my trunk. I got all my crap set up over here. Oil change stuff we'll do later. Air filter for the intake we'll do later. Brakes, gotta get a hose, I'll run you through this later. Take the wheels off. Get yourself a nice little gun. Save you a lot of trouble. These are a lot heavier than they look if you're used to small cars. So, like I said, back wheels, let's put them where they belong. Back wheels go straight forward. We'll leave this guy here. Hey Austin, pass me that key. That one, perfect. Sometimes you gotta give it a little kick to get it unstuck. And the front wheels, we're gonna crisscross, so this guy is gonna end up all the way on this side. So let's leave this here for later. And then I'm gonna take those two off. Okay, so you might want to get yourself a little stepping stool, because I'm 6'4" and I'm standing on a ramp just to get to the brake fluid reservoir. I have a little hand pump. If you don't have one, you can use a turkey baster. The first thing you're going to do is take out as much old fluid as you can from this guy, and be careful not to get any of this stuff dirty, because you don't want dirt going in there. So okay, not working too great. Maybe I need a turkey baster. Hold that thought. And also, an important note is try not to get brake fluid on anything because it's extremely corrosive and it will eat through paint and plastics and whatever the hell you put it on. So I'm going to take this little guy out right here, and that'll give me more access to a little towel handy here. There we go. Nice easy pumps. So as you can see, the brake fluid is kind of amber colored, which indicates dirt and contamination and wear. Brake fluid should be clear. Gotta empty this guy now. I guess this container is a little too small. Alright, so we're going to use this old fluid as a tool. Get yourself a bottle, a funnel, and you will see why shortly. Let's keep that in this bottle for now. Let's go pump the rest of the fluid out. By the way, I highly recommend the turkey baster because this Mighty Vac pump sucks. Ugh. I've hated this thing the whole time I had it. But I don't have a turkey baster, so Mighty Vac pump it is. I will not post a product number in the description because fuck this thing. Pardon my language. Supposed to be child-friendly auto mechanic lessons. Okay. And also, let's put this somewhere where the wind won't blow it over. Okay, back to the thingy. There's like little compartments in there, so it's pretty hard to get all the fluid out, but you probably won't need to because when you start bleeding the calipers, all of this is going to push out. So I think that's good. There's just a tiny bit left on the bottom, but that'll work its way out through the lines. I think we're done with this contraption. So what I did here was, by the way, you can use this tool if you don't have a partner to help you bleed the brakes, but as you can see, I already mentioned I hate it, so I won't be using it. I'm just going to bleed them the traditional way. This is often used as a one-man brake bleeder, but I'm going to show you how to do it the stupid-proof way, assuming you have a friend to help you. So, take this guy out. Get yourself a bottle. You need a little bit of old fluid. You could use new fluid too if you don't care about wasting some. Cut a hole for your hose. You can get hose like this. I think this is like, I don't know, 1/8 inch or something like that hose. It just has to fit over the bleeder nipple. So I cut a hole through the lid, put this guy in, put it in the bottle, and you want to make sure Well, close it first. You want to make sure that the bottom of the hose is submerged in the fluid so air doesn't go back and forth. And then this traditional toolkit will replace this advanced piece of crap tool that just gets fluid everywhere because it sucks. Probably gonna have people commenting below saying, "You just don't know how to use it. It's a great tool." Alright, so we got this little guy, and we are going to work from the farthest caliper to the closest to the master cylinder. So we're going to do rear passenger, rear driver, then we're going to go to front passenger, and we're going to finish off with the front driver's side. But first, we're going to top off the reservoir with fresh fluid. So we got to put this guy back in. This is just a little filter screen to make sure that, like, when you open the lid, something doesn't fall in there by accident. So it's like a fine mesh in there. So let's put this guy back in. Another good practice to have is to keep the surrounding areas kind of clean. Just careful from dropping dirt and stuff in there, but it does get dusty in here. So just try to clean carefully around so this dirt and dust doesn't kind of work its way under the threads and into your brake fluid, because the two things you don't want in your brake fluid are dirt and moisture. So gotta make sure this is nice and clean. She looks pretty clean. That's why there's a fat rubber seal to prevent the moisture from coming in. And notice I'm putting this rag over here, not on the car, because it has brake fluid on it already. So, get a little bottle of this stuff. You can probably tilt it a few times, but you don't want to shake it because shaking creates bubbles, and bubbles will be trapped there inside your brake system, and you don't want that either. Get a little knife. Make sure you wear gloves because you don't want brake fluid on your skin. Chances are, if you're watching this, you don't know about this kind of stuff. And I probably recommend watching more videos, not just mine, because I'm not really a mechanic. Alright, so carefully top this guy off. You can use a funnel if you're extra careful, or if you're good at pouring. Shh, not while I'm pouring. You just top that in there. Doop, doop, doop. You can go past the max point, because when you start bleeding the calipers, it's going to go down anyway. So I got 2 bottles of this. I hope it's enough. It just keeps going in there. So we're probably going to kill this whole bottle just filling up the reservoir, and then we'll kill the second bottle bleeding the calipers. I hope 2 is enough. Alright, so that looks like it's full. I should probably put a lid back on this. Yeah. Let's put a lid back on this guy. We might need to get Austin back out here to help film, because my lovely filmer assistant lady is going to have to pump the brakes. Okay, assistant in place. Cameraman in place. So basically what she's going to do is pump the brakes while I open and close this guy. It's a little bleeder valve. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna slowly press the brake gently 3 times, and on the 3rd time you're gonna hold it. And as you're holding it, I'm gonna open the bleeder valve and watch for the fluid to come out. And when I see fresh fluid coming out, I'm gonna close it, and then I'll tell you when to let go. And then we're gonna do that 2 or 3 times for each wheel. Okay? You film. Here you go. It's recording, so don't stop it from recording. Thank you. Follow me. All right. What you're gonna want is a 10mm wrench, preferably a 6-point. I only have 12-point wrenches, and my only 6-point is this flare nut wrench, which are actually used for doing brakes, so this will be perfect. Okay, come. Film right here, buddy. All right, so see this little guy? Each bleeder has a little rubber thingy on it, a little dust shield. You don't want to lose that. Just take it off and place it nearby somewhere. Now, we're gonna take our wrench and place it on here first. Make sure we have enough room. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. That appears like my only position available. Now, remember this guy? We're gonna take it and slide it right onto that bleeder. Nice and snug. Okay, so pump the brakes 3 times and hold it on the 3rd time. Good?
Yep.
Holding?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna crack this open. Not much room here to work with. Huh. Okay, we might need a better wrench because this guy is not really letting me slide the wrench on because there's stuff in the way. Maybe this way? Ah, okay, there we go. Still holding? Okay. Keep holding.
All the way down.
Yep, keep holding. All right. Hold on. All right, now I'm gonna close it. Let go. Pump 3 times and hold. Still filming? How's it looking?
Holding.
Okay, she's holding. Now I'm gonna crack it open again. And watch more. Are you filming this hose right here? Can you see the hose? No, don't zoom, just come closer. Austin wants to be a YouTuber, so this is his internship at filming stuff. There we go, see more fluid coming out. Not much making its way out.
All the way down.
Still holding?
Yep.
Keep holding. Alright, let's close it. Let go. Pump again. This might take a few tries because this is the farthest brake from the master cylinder, so that fluid really has to work its way through. Holding. Open. There we go. Come on. Watch that fluid. Close. Oh, when you say all the way down, the pedal's dropping?
When I say all the way down, it's all the way down.
But when you're holding it, it's not all the way down. So why are you saying all the way down? That's what I'm asking you. On your 3rd pump, when you hold it, is it not on the floor?
No, it's not. On the 3rd pump, then it's the holes, and it goes all the way down.
Okay. That sounds right. Okay. So I hold on. This wrench sucks. Close it. All right, let go. Pump again. Ready? Open. Can you see the fluid moving through the straw in the video? Are you sure? Close. Again. Open. Close. Okay, let's take a little pause here. So what we have to do is check the level of the fluid in the reservoir, because what you don't want to happen, are you filming me? What you don't want to happen, come on, is for the fluid to drop below the minimum point. No. Come on, follow me, Austin. Come on, you got to get with it, dude. You got to follow me. Where are you? You got to follow me around, dude. You're the cameraman, remember? You got to make sure you can see everything I'm doing. All right, there you go. Can you see this guy?
Yeah,
all right, so the fluid dropped a little bit, not too much. So you can see this is the maximum point and that's the minimum point. When you're pumping the brakes, remember the fluid's gonna keep going through. Are you filming? Fluid's gonna keep going through, so it's gonna keep dropping. And you basically do not want it to drop, you know, mid-procedure. You don't want it to drop below the minimum point. So every couple of pumps, you gotta come back here and top it off. So I killed this container and I have this one on standby. I already opened it up to have it ready. Okay, so while I turn the camera off, where are you going? Best cameraman ever. I got this side done, so let's go to the front now. I'm not gonna record all 4 wheels because you guys are just gonna be watching a video forever, but make sure you put your little rubber things over here. Make sure you put your little rubber things back on. If you got brake fluid all over your calipers, you might want to clean that up because it'll eventually eat through the finish. But you know, as you can see, everything's nice and dry because that bottle and hose trick works pretty well if you're careful. All right, let's go over here. So we'll go to this side. Where's my bottle and hose? I lost it. All right, let's take this rubber thing off. Oh, that's stuck on there. Okay, take this little rubber guy off. Let me go get my bottle. Hold it right there.
Wheel. Vroom, vroom.
All right, let's set this guy up. Filming right here. So the fronts are nice because there's a lot of empty space here and the wrench doesn't collide into other stuff. On the back, the wrench was, you know, no matter where you put it, the wrench bumps into something, making it a little difficult, but the front should be nice and easy. So put the wrench on. I decided to screw it and use a 12 point anyway, being that it's closed. It should be okay because it's a nice snug seat. All right, put the hose on. There we go. Okay, pump and hold. She's pumping 3 times and then she's gonna hold it. All right, and now you can watch the fluid. Oh my God, that's tight. Holy moly. There it goes. Woo, look at that fluid go. All right, close. Pump and hold. So you're gonna see the brake fluid turning a little cleaner as we do this a few more times. So now she's holding the brake. Open, see the brake fluid come out. And close. Pump. 1, 2, 3, and she's holding, and I open. And close. Pump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding.
Yep.
And I open and close. So I'm gonna go check the reservoir to make sure it's not empty. Probably isn't, but just a note, I did this on the back wheels probably about 10 times. All right, come with me. Over here, you can raise your hands if it helps you film over here better. Top this guy off. go. Has some nice yellow fluid in there, and it's not all orange like before. Looks a lot more clear. Back to the brakes. Come on. Okay. Pump and hold. Pump and hold. Pump and hold. Pump and hold.
Oh, woo. Oh, woo.
Pump and hold. So, looks like clean fluid is coming through and there aren't any air bubbles coming out, which is basically what you want to look out for. Let's do it one more time for good measure. Pump and hold. There we go, and close. And that's going to be good for this one. Pump it a few times and let go. Alright, now let's carefully film over here. So, since there's fluid in this line, and you don't want it to splash everywhere, what you do is you, Austin, over here where my hand is, you ease this off gently so air gets into the hose, not the, well, air can't get into the brake because I closed the leader. So when you go at an angle and air gets in, the fluid will work its way back into the bottle and not spill all over the floor like this. See it going in? There we go. And now we have a nice clean film right here. See, everything is clean and dry. Fluid didn't spill everywhere. Right there. I really wonder if you were filming anything this whole time, Austin, because you're just pointing that phone everywhere. Alright, I'm gonna go check the reservoir, and basically just do this for every corner. Like I said, from farthest to closest, which is, again, rear passenger, rear driver, front passenger, front driver. And just keep making sure that the reservoir stays topped off, and you should be good. That's it. That's a wrap for the brakes. Okay, bye. Alright, so I just wrapped it up. I didn't film this wheel because there's no need. And I didn't film that wheel because there's no need. But basically, like I said, I did that corner, this corner, that corner, and ended with this corner. Make sure you put all your little rubber things back on. So you don't want to over tighten these when you put them back on, and when you're loosening them while doing the procedure, you don't want to completely unscrew them. It just needs a tiny bit, like, you know, like a quarter of a turn before fluid starts coming out. And then nice little hand tight. Don't overpower it. I'm not sure what the torque specs are. I've been doing this for like 20 years, so I don't really care. I just kind of have the muscle memory for it. So if you start doing this, you get the hang of it, probably after fucking up a couple of threads. Anyhow, so like I said, I bought 2 of these straight from dealership. And after all said and done, that looks nice and clear now. Remember, it was all orange and dirty before. Filled it up to right about there. That's the max. When you look at it from the top, it's kind of hard to see when the fluid is clear where the max line is, but it's about right there where the bevel of the tray is. So I'm left over with about maybe that much fluid, maybe less, maybe that much. So it takes just about 2 of these guys to do this procedure. This, in all honesty, is going to go in the garbage. I'm not going to keep it because once these are open, air gets in there, and then you close it, and then it stays, you know, circulating with the air that's in there, and over time the fluid just goes bad. So hydraulic fluids, always need to be changed, whether it's your brake fluid, your transmission fluid, your differential fluid. You got to change these things. It's just the name of the game. When they get dirty and when they get moisture in them, they just don't work. Yeah, so let's close this guy back up nice and carefully, nice and tight. Make sure it's seated. One little click and that's all it takes. And that's it. Brakes are done. So what's left now? What is left? I gotta clean all this stuff up. So what's left in maintenance B127 is air filter and oil change. I will do those shortly, but like I said, when I do my oil change, I'm gonna put this car, I'm gonna put the back wheels back on and I'm gonna put the front wheels on ramps. That way when I go under the car, there's no chance of the car falling and killing me. So, you know, safety first, guys. Make sure you got a bunch of rubber gloves. You don't want oil on your hands, you don't want brake fluid on your hands. I know you see all the YouTube mechanics getting all dirty, but you know what? I'm 40 years old. I don't have cancer. I don't feel like getting it anytime soon, especially with kids. So, you know, protect yourself, protect your skin. Don't touch these chemicals. They're really bad for you. Anyway, what I was saying is, while the car is up on air, another part of the B maintenance, unlike the A maintenance, you have to check a whole plethora of other things. I got to go back to the list, but I mean, the car is just under 30,000 miles. It still looks brand new. I mean, it tells you to inspect, you know, your tie rods and your end links and brake pads. I mean, I've looked at all this stuff. I'll go through the list again. I'm not going to film myself doing it, but when I can look into my phone and get the list of things I need to check. Another way to check your brake pads, the thickness is you can look right through there. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but after all this driving, that's a pretty thick pad. The rotors look perfect. There's no cutting up marks on them of any sort, which is great. End links are solid. Axles are solid. There's no play. Tie rods are solid. I'll check the control arm bushings and the ball joints and all that stuff. I'll give you a list of stuff to check. But from what I see right now, everything looks pretty solid. Acura's going, Honda I should say, is going crazy with their suspension builds. They're getting so much more advanced. I mean, there are all sorts of contraptions in here. Like, I'm used to these guys, nice and simple. But I gotta say, this Acura handles so well. Like, you go on high-speed turns and I can't even express to you how much the car just wants you to go faster. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Let me take this thing off the jacks, put it back in the ramps and onto the oil change. All right, we're back. That worked well. So I jacked the front back up, put all the wheels back on. I lowered the front onto the ramps. I moved the jack and my little homemade wooden platform, jacked up the back. Now these guys, we can take them out. Just put this here. My assistant left, my cameraman left. It's just me now. All right, there we go. So, car is just dangling now. Let's see if I could loosen this with one hand. Probably not. You know what? I'm gonna prop the camera up right here on the floor. Nice and easy. Gotta keep the bar low or else it hits the back bumper. So this worked just perfectly. There we go, car's on the floor. Pull this guy out. this guy out. And we're ready to do an oil change. Let me also mention, so when I was taking the wheels off, you saw me using my impact gun. You gotta really be good with these things or you can cause some damage, you know, to your wheels taking them off or to the studs putting them back on. So when I put my wheels back on, I always use a torque wrench, especially with this guy. You don't want to go impact on the key. I mean, I probably shouldn't use the impact to remove it either, but whatever, I got lazy. Guilty. So usually got this guy set to anywhere from 80 to 100 foot-pounds of torque. This guy I use 80, little guy. This guy I would say about 100. I'm actually not sure what the torque specs are, but on a lot of trucks they're 100, so that's fine. So yeah, don't forget to tighten all your stuff to torque. If you want to, you could use impact, but you know, if you fuck up your car, it's your fault. There we go. And then for good measure on all the rest of them, crisscross pattern. And I think these guys are all good. There we go. We're all torqued down here. I'm gonna do the other 3 wheels and then on to our oil change. So, you know, this is what I was saying before. With the car on the floor, you got plenty of room here and you feel a little safer because the car won't fall on you. Oil change is pretty easy, so let's do that in a minute. And since we took all that time doing the brakes, the engine is nice and cool, so you know, you won't get scalding hot oil pouring all over your arms and your face and stuff, because believe it or not, I see a lot of that on YouTube as well. I don't know what those guys are thinking, but you know, I try to keep my life a little bit on the safer side. Okay, oil change. What do we need? Oil and a filter, obviously. Car takes OW20. Whatever you put in there is your choice, but you know, pretty sure I'm not smarter than Honda, so I just listen to what they say. OEM oil filter, there's the part number. Don't forget your crush washer on the drain bolt. It's taped to this thing. Dealer did that. Oil pan. This little guy probably had a party and drank too much, so he's gonna drown now. I think he's already dead though. You need a big fat screwdriver or something flat, and you'll see why in a minute. 17mm ratchet and an oil filter removal tool. There's tons of different ones on the market. This one I have found to be great because a lot of the ones that are just a cup that slips on, they like to slip a lot, and then you're in a whole annoying situation. Also, I've noticed with this car, of all the oil changes I've done, is the oil cap does not want to come off. Ow. That really gets, there you go, OW20. That gets seized on there, I guess, because on the turbo cars, all the pressure builds up and causes seizing. So, let's see if I can do this with one hand, like all the other YouTubers. Put a rag there, so I don't mess it up. Grab it. There we go. That's all it takes. Extra little grip. This guy comes out. So basically, I like to remove my oil cap. That way when I crack open the drain bolt, it has some airflow going through and it doesn't start splurging out. I don't know if that's the right word. Splurging? I don't know. Anyway, let's climb down here and see what we got. Alright, so there's this nice tin tray. and this is what your big screwdriver is for. You have 4 of these guys, so they come off pretty easy. It's just, I guess they replaced plastic clips with these guys. Yep, it falls right out. Pretty cool. I like these because plastic stuff, like all these classic little Honda ones, once they start popping in and out, they break, they get stuck, they get all over the place, then you're stuck with flapping plastics everywhere. But these are nice. I like this tin tray. It's a little splash shield, so let's take all of them off. This is definitely a one-handed job. There we go. There we go. It's awesome. Oh, that guy went far away. We'll get him later. There we go. And when you take all of them out, let's keep them all in one place here. Where's this guy? See if I could reach this guy with my screwdriver reaching device. Whee! There we go. And this is cool because it still stays on, because there's tabs that are inserted. So what you do is you just basically grab it from anywhere and slide it back, and then it comes right off. And that basically protects your exhaust manifold and oil pan. What I love about this car is that Honda got smart and decided to put the oil filter right there, right in your face. Because on my Civic that you see in the garage, oh, you don't want to know where that thing's located. The only downside is that it's pointed completely downwards, so there's no way you can take this off and not get dirty. As soon as you unscrew it, it starts pouring on you. Engine oil bolt. Can't mess this up because they even labeled it for you. There's your bolt, there's your washer. Make sure I got the right. Should be 17. Yep, it's a 17. So, let's get this guy. This here, and what I've noticed with this car is that when you crack this open, this is pointed perfectly parallel to the ground, so this oil just likes to shoot straight backwards. And the first time I did an oil change on this, I did not expect that, and it flew right past the oil tray, which was just great. Don't know if I can do this with one hand. Maybe I can prop this up against this wheel ramp and you could still see. I don't know. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing, but let's see. Can you see that? I think we can see that. All right, let's try to loosen this guy. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So there we go. Just pull towards me. There it goes. I hope this is still recording. So what I like to do here is I actually hold this up so that at least I can control where this oil shoots and it doesn't shoot everywhere, and then you can lower it back down to the floor. That makes it a little easier. Try to hold the bolt so it doesn't fall into the pan. And there we go. Still got it in my hand, because then you got to fish it out of this thing. So there you go. That's pouring. Whee! That looks pretty black. So, you know, I guess it really is due for a change. So you see it shoots kind of far out. Careful not to drop my phone into the oil. But yeah, I'm gonna let this drain. I only have one hand and this hand is covered in oil, so let me go get a rag and I will continue filming in a minute. Okay, so while this is still draining, see that leaking in there. Have a few extra words here. I got my filter unwrapped. Now, this is the old crush washer. It looks absolutely perfect and brand new, and most people just say, screw it. Why do I need a new crush washer? I'm gonna put the old one back on, it looks fine. Guys, don't be cheap. This thing is like 12 cents. Just put a new one on. Just put a new one on. You don't see that it's crushed, but chances are it's crushed. And the reason that you put a new one on is so that you don't mess up the threads on your bolt and on your oil pan, because you're going to be cheap, you're going to try to save 12 cents, and then you're going to need to retap your oil pan, and that's a headache you don't want to go through. So just put a new crush washer on. It's not that serious. I unwrapped this guy. So you're always going to want to put a little bit of oil on this ring. So I usually just take the oil from the old stuff. I dip my finger on there and rub it on this a little bit just to get it lubed up. And also, when you take the old filter off, you want to make sure that this ring from the old filter does not get stuck to the motor, because when you double up on this rubber gasket, you're asking for a leak. So, you know, when you take off the old filter, make sure the rubber gasket comes off with it. So this looks like it's pretty much empty. A little slow drip there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new bolt on first, just to have it in there, and then I'm going to unscrew the old filter. Okay, put this guy back on. You don't have to go crazy tightening it. Again, you know, either torque wrench with correct specs or muscle memory if you know what you're doing. You know, hate to admit it, I don't know the torque specs, but I know how to put those on, so I'll just leave it at that. This is going to be kind of hard again with this guy, especially since there's going to be some mess flopping out of here and I'm just laying on the ground. So I can try to prop the phone up somehow, somewhere. Don't know if I'm aiming correctly. I hope that's good. I'm just assuming that that's filming. All right, let's hope that works. Tool's a little tricky. You gotta open it up, clamp it down, and then hold it. Ooh, wrong way. And then, oh no, that was the right way. It's upside down, so it's a mind fuck. There we go. Easy as that. All you need is a little bit of a turn, and then you don't need the tool anymore. Kind of gets stuck on there, which sucks because I don't want the tool to get all oily, but let's see if I can wiggle it up. There we go. Otherwise oil will spill all over this and then you gotta clean an extra item. So now the only thing that's gonna get oily is my hand a little bit. I'm gonna try to go careful. Oh, there we go, there we go. Or you could actually just leave it like that. Yeah, let's leave it like that. That way a lot of it will drip out before we get all oily and messy. Might also be a good idea to wear eye protection in case it splashes in your eyeballs, but you know, like I said, I'm really tall and I have long arms, so I lay real far back on the floor and I do this from afar. Listen careful. Alright, whatever, I'm already oily, screw it. And now it just gets slippery, so it's weird because it's covered in oil. You're trying to spin it, but your hand is slipping on it. So, you know, pros and cons here. It's easy access, but a bit of a messy job. And there's a lot of threads on here, so it just spins forever. Eventually it just drops into your hand. There it goes. Oh, with a whole bunch of extra oil. Dump that in there. And keep a little rag handy. This one's already all dirty, so we'll just use this rag to engulf it in and not get our driveway all dirty. There we go. Alright, I'm back. Still dripping. I don't want to grab my phone because now my hands are completely covered in oil, so I'm going to take these gloves off so I can grab the phone. And I hope that was aimed properly, so let's see what's in there. What's in there? What's in there? Yep, so you see the mating surface of that. The rubber ring is not on there, which is good. Another way you can tell is just by looking at the old filter. So, rubber ring is still there. That goes in the garbage. I oiled this one up already. So, we can go ahead and seat this back on there. See if I could do this without dropping my phone into the oil. Sorry for the shaky video. There we go. Thread it nice and carefully. Nice and carefully. There we go. There we go. Oh, my neck's gonna hurt after this. Alright, so now it's not dripping anymore. We can move this guy out of the way so I can have a little more room for my long ass arms. Alright, so this gets tightened and until it gets seated, and then about, what is it, a quarter turn or a half a turn, something like that. You just go a little bit more past fully seated. You don't want to use a tool to tighten these. It's only hand tight. So after it's seated, you just grab it nice and good and give it, well, I guess that's pretty much it. It won't turn more than that. And the reason for that is, I don't know. It's just a rule of thumb. Always hand tighten. Now we can put this metal cover back on, and then we will fill up the oil in the engine bay. So hang on, let me situate this. I don't need to film this because you already know what it looks like. Okay, that's all buttoned up. Now go up here. Make sure to dispose of this properly. I already took the seal off of this guy between videos, so it's ready to pour. So another thing I forgot to mention, what I love about these Honda motors, this one and my Civic, they both take exactly 5 quarts of the fluid. So no weird numbers. You don't gotta buy a bunch of little quarts. You just buy one big 5-quart jug, pour it in, and then you take the old stuff and you pour it back in here and you drop it off at the auto parts store. Pretty easy, straightforward. So I also like this big plastic area here where you can work on. It's like a table. So get yourself a nice funnel so you don't make a mess. If you want, you can take this cover off. It just literally pulls right up. It snaps into like 4 plastic pins. But if you have a nice funnel, you don't need to. This funnel is perfect. Just make sure it's clean. You know, if you have a used funnel, wipe it down. Make sure it's nice and clean before pouring clean oil and pushing all the dirt back into your motor. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Where can I prop this up now? I need like a tripod or something. I am not set up for this YouTube game. Let's see. I think I can prop it up right here. There we go. Nice and easy. And you know, don't rush it. You don't want to spill stuff. When you rush things, you end up making other messes, and then you end up taking more time to clean up your messes. So take your time, do things the right way. Yeah, that looks golden and delicious. Car is definitely gonna like this. You can actually leave that resting just like that for a few minutes, put it all in there. And, you know, they usually say check down below for leaks after filling up the oil, but you know, when you've been doing this for like 20 years, it's kind of, you get used to it. So put the bolt on right, put the filter on right. You don't really need to check for anything. And then also, you know, ideally you're supposed to check for oil level, but it's 5 quarts. The car takes 5 quarts. You put 5 quarts in, so what are you really checking? I don't know. I just pour it in and go. So, all right. That should be pretty empty. Now we have a nice empty jug where we can pour this into. I like this style of drain pan because it has this spout and a big lip in here, so when you're pouring this in here, it doesn't start sloshing and flying all over the place, especially if it's a windy day. You can literally just shove this guy right in there. I'm not going to film it because you get the idea, but it makes life a whole lot easier. So what's left here, take this guy out carefully. Make sure you don't drip oil over your motor. There we go. Can clean that for next use. Take this guy. Make sure the rubber on here is still nice and good. Why wouldn't it be? It's a brand new car. Well, 30,000 miles isn't brand new, but for a Honda or an Acura, it really is. These things are considered brand new up to like 100,000 miles. So if you take care of them, they're brand new for a long time. Could use a nice little wipe down because it's dusty, but in New York we just had a hurricane pass by, so got everything kind of dirty. All right, that's the oil change. We're done. I'm gonna clean that up, and the only thing left to do is the engine intake filter, which is right here. So we're gonna have to take apart some of these plastic panels, and yeah, I'm gonna get the car back on the ground because that'll make this thing lower and easier to access. So let's do that in a little bit. Quick one-handed video just to show you how easy this really is. Literally fits in there perfectly while you're dumping all this crap. Nice and easy. Don't want to rush it either. But there you go. Just wanted to show you. And we're back. Car's on the ground. This engine bay was really bothering me, so I found the closest cleaning thing I could in my house. Multi-surface, whatever. A little rag. And I wiped down a whole bunch of this. As you can see, is it raining? What are these droplets? Oh, I hope it's not raining. Anyway, what a big difference. A little quickie wipe. Not quite as neat as this guy. There's a reason it's in the garage, in case you guys were wondering. I know at least one of you viewers is wondering what the hell's going on with this car. I guess I'll show you a little quick peek. This guy, believe it or not, costs a little more than that. And if you own that, you know what the tag on that car is. So, yeah. I'll show you what's going on in here. You can already tell from the interior. But this is my baby. I had this guy for about 12 years. And it's a K24 supercharged. Yeah, there is pretty much nothing left on this car that is original. Puts down about 350 horsepower to the wheels, and a little scary to drive. I actually ordered a bigger supercharger for it that I've been waiting for since December. So I don't know what's taking this guy so long. If you know who I'm talking about, you know. But after that goes in, I'm redoing the whole fueling system also. Hopefully run E85 in here. I should be around 500 horsepower, so that should be fun. Yup. Anyway, getting distracted here. Let's close this guy up. There we go. What else do we need here? All right, so last thing is the intake filter. I have a little mini driver, 8mm socket, 6-inch extension. This should be able to reach down to here. There's 4 of these little guys. 1, 2, there's 3, and then there's 1 under here, so I gotta take this thing apart. Fortunately, from what I gather, this guy comes off pretty easily. There's nothing holding it, it just pops out. So go nice and careful, don't savage it out. Just give it little gentle tugs, and it should pop right out. Just work your way from one side to the other. There we go. Nice and easy. And that's it. That's it, it's out. See what's under here. That's all that holds it. These little tabs. So unless you got a box of new ones, go nice and easy so you don't break them. Set this to the side. Unlike other YouTube videos where you will see guys grabbing this and throwing it on top of the engine bay, I don't like to do stuff like that. That was actually a video I watched of a Acura service technician wearing an Acura shirt in a dealership. Just grabs this thing, pulls it out, throws it right there. Don't want to talk bad about dealers, but you know, sometimes when you know you could do it better yourself, you might as well just do it better yourself. Alright, so what do I have here? These little push clips right here. I'm going to need to get a screwdriver because we got to pick this guy up. So let's go get a screwdriver. It also helps to have one of these guys. It's a little tab puller. Those come in real handy. But let's see. Hopefully these will do. I'm doing this all left-handed. I should probably switch hands. Alright, what's holding it? This guy. Oh yeah, look at that. So that goes perfectly right into there. Give it a little wiggle, Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. You will see most mechanics just ripping these and throwing little shards everywhere. Just goes to show you got the right tools. Do it right. Don't be a mess. And then another one, sometimes you gotta swivel them into the position that you need them to be in. Really hard to. I'm doing this looking through a phone, which is kind of... Oh, it broke. Let's see if I got more of these clips in my clip box. Yep, that one completely broke. And that happens because plastic gets hot in here, and then it just breaks and shatters. So let's pull this guy out. We'll replace it with another clip later. Or maybe we didn't even need to take that one out. Or maybe I did, I don't know. There's my other screwdriver. I guess this is the only thing still holding it in there, is that little nub. Let's try to push that through to the bottom. There we go. Now that should come out. It's probably because I'm doing this with one hand that it's giving me such a hard time. Because my kid decided to go watch cartoons, so I lost my cameraman. And my lady friend had to go. She had to go to her parents' house. This is a stubborn little bastard. Alright, I'm gonna pause this because I can't do this with one hand. Alright, so that was a lot easier with two hands. So with that clip out, this basically, there's nothing holding this end. It slides right onto that. So when you take these two clips out, this thing just pretty much comes right off. And now you can reach the fourth bolt right there. I don't know if you need to completely remove them or just loosen them and they stay hanging out there. Sometimes they make them so that they don't completely come out. Yeah, it just stays where it stays so you don't lose it. There it is, the last one. There we go. Put this down. Let's double check. Do they come out? Nope, they don't come out. They live in their housing. See, they just live there. And you can actually just take this and open it up. Push the harnesses out of the way carefully. You can open up enough to reach your filter. So here we go. Just note which way it came in. So you put the new one the same way. Looks like these little teeth are on the bottom. This is on top. Yeah, that looks pretty dirty. I was gonna say, wow, that looks clean, but then I flipped it over. Wow, pretty dirty and cruddy. So, yep, time for a new filter. So I'm gonna leave this right here so I can see the orientation. And I'm gonna get the other one. Where'd I leave the other one? Is it in my trunk? There it is. Here it is. Replaces, yada 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 yada. I wonder if this part number is anywhere on this filter. Nope. It does say Honda though, but there's no part number on it. Anyhow, I put this over here so I can use 2 hands to open it. Alright, got it out of the packaging. Anytime I replace something that's not identical to OEM, I always do a little comparison. Little tab there, little tab. You know, I flip them both over between filming and they do look pretty identical. So just go ahead and slide this guy. Oh, yum yum yum. Acura hungry. Slide this guy back into the hole. Make sure it's seated nice and properly. Yep, it seats perfectly. Perfect. We could take this crap, throw it out, and we can close this guy back up and put everything back together in reverse order. So I'll just thread these gently by hand before taking an impact driver to them, because you don't want to cross thread anything. God knows what it's touching down there. So I like to start every bolt in the car, no matter what I'm doing. Always start bolts by hand. And now we can, nice and easy. These don't need any force at all. Easy does it. Oh, my battery died. Did it die? Yep, battery's dead. Oh, nuts. Anyway, you get the point. I'm going to tighten those up with a screwdriver or by hand or with another battery. I'm going to put this guy back in, and then put this guy back in, and then that's it. That's as easy as it is to change the filter. Some people say change it every 10,000, but I don't know. With these cars and their automated maintenance schedules, it literally tells you when to do what, so you can't go wrong with that. So let's just check here in my little box of clips. Yeah, so you got Hondas. You always got to have a box of these on hand because you never know when they break. Yeah, one of these guys will work. One of them shall work. Alright, you get the point. So if you got a Honda or an Acura, grab yourself a little variety pack on eBay. This whole box, and it actually came with that little tool that I showed you. This whole box cost me like, I don't know, like 15 bucks or something. Stupid cheap. So don't go cheap. All right, got this guy back in. I wasn't gonna show this, but I got so happy about it. So there's the stock clip, the one that broke right here, and here's the one I just replaced. These are even cooler because they have a little Phillips head on them, so instead of yanking and pulling and cracking these open, you can just unscrew that guy. So problem fixed, and little miniature upgrade, saves the day. Now put this guy back on. Probably hard to do with one hand, but yeah, it goes somewhere over there. All right, let me use two hands to clip this on, and then we'll get to the most fun and satisfying part of the video, which is resetting that pesky maintenance light. And she's all buttoned up and ready to go. By the way, something just occurred to me. I absolutely hate how low this hood is because, as you can tell, I'm 6'4", so when I do anything under this hood, I keep hitting my head, and sometimes I hit my head right here, and that really hurts. So if you plan on doing any automotive work under the hood of your car and you're my height, let me back up a little. That is literally as much as that hood opens. Why they did that, I don't know, but if you want to go any higher, you have to either take the hood off or disconnect these two struts, which kind of sucks, but I doubt I'll be pulling this motor out or anything like that anytime soon, because I'm due to give this car back to Acura next summer. Yeah, so that actually leads me to another good point. So the reason I'm doing these videos is, you know, just in case I decide to keep my car, it's all in good shape. I know I did everything myself. I know what I did, I know what I didn't do, and there's not much that I didn't do. You know, maintenance is always done on time with OEM parts, so there's not much Acura can really say to me in regards to voiding the warranty. And if they say, you know, oh, you didn't do these maintenance things for whatever reason, I have a whole booklet of receipts from dealerships of all the parts that I bought for maintenance. Not to mention, I have these nifty little YouTube videos of the maintenance actually being done. So there's that. Now, this is what we were going to get to. Hit the ignition. Well, you know what? Let's turn it on and run it. Nice little display. Shows me that my hood is open. Push to dismiss. There you go. So, maintenance past due, 366 miles. Fasten, dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. And now we're back on this screen.
For your safe driving.
Starting normal recording.
Starting normal recording.
That's my black view. There's one in the back too. I had a bunch of dash cams. They all suck, they break. These cost a little bit of money. I got this as a gift from my very nice and lovely assistant that we saw earlier for Christmas, I think it was. And this thing is awesome. Cost a little bit of money, but better safe than sorry. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. It's like I have ADD or something. All right. Vehicle. Maintenance. And remember we were on this screen earlier last night? You go to reset all due. Reset all due maintenance. Yes. B127. Goodbye. Alright, so my engine oil life is back to reading 100%, and for now the next scheduled thing is A, which is engine oil. So if you go back to this menu, I mean, you guys have this car, I'm sure you know how this works. Yep, A is the next item. And, you know, that doesn't mean the next thing that I will be doing is an oil change. You know, I could drive around for a couple more days or a week or a month or whatever, and then some other items will appear. Like I said, this is all calculated by electronics and algorithms and stuff, so it just tells you when to do it. just follow the schedule. If you care about your car, follow the schedule and just do what it asks you to do, because it knows what it needs. So that's all reset and you're done. I like to keep my screen on this guy. Oh, look at that, 13.7 miles per gallon. Horrible. All right, that concludes that, and I will make a couple of after notes when I get back in the house and discuss a few more things that you should probably know about this. Be right back. Back in the house now. Child, dog, Ninja Turtles. Okay, so I got all my owner's manual stuff here. If you look in the maintenance journal, I've been filling these out every time I do a scheduled maintenance. So here's this time around, and it actually tells you everything that's required. So if you look at B, all of these things right here, those are the things that I didn't show, but you have to check all of those, you know, every time you get Schedule B maintenance. So front and rear brake service is necessary. They look fantastic. Expiration date for temporary tire, kit bottle. So I have an A-spec model and there's no spare tire. So it comes with an inflator and some gunky stuff that goes into your, I don't know. I don't really care about it. I don't care if it's expired or not. I probably wouldn't use it. I would just call one of my friends to bring me an extra wheel. Tie rod end, steering, gearbox, boots, all that stuff looked good. Suspension, I looked over, everything looked good. Drive shaft, boots, those look good. Brakes, everything, fluids, exhaust system, fuel lines. I mean, the car looked mint. Doesn't mean it's gonna look like that on your particular car after, you know, 28,000 miles, because everybody drives different, everybody takes care of their cars differently, people live in different places with different climates. So, you know, these are all up to you to do. But for this maintenance, it said B, all these things, 127. So check those off, because we did those. Put the date for reference, and I made some notes. So before, I always did Mobile 1, and I just happened to go to AutoZone, and they didn't have any Mobile 1 020, which kind of sucked. So whatever, I got a Castrol Edge. I don't think it'll make much difference. I just made other notes: intake filter, pollen filter, brake fluid. Also, if you go into, so yeah, that's done. Make sure you keep these records. If you go into the owner's guide, page 110, it'll outline all the same things that you need to do. Or you could go into your infotainment system and it'll read all of this stuff over to you. So that's it. That wraps up B127. And where's my assistant? Austin, get over here. You want to show him your YouTube channel? This kid keeps doing this weird wiggle thing. I don't know what he's doing. If you like Austin and you have kids and they do stupid stuff like that and play with these crazy little ugly toys, I don't know what the hell they are. Yeah, this is all he does. He waves them around like everyone else on YouTube. This is his channel. So if you got kids, go find Austin's Fartsy channel and subscribe to him too. And what do you always say after your videos? Like, subscribe, yada yada.
Please like and subscribe and don't forget to fart.
Please like and subscribe and don't forget to fart. This guy over here does all the farting in the house. All the farting.
I do too.
Right? All the farting? Yep, that's Walter.
Woof, woof, woof.
And that's a wrap. There she is. That is a wrap. Until next time. See you guys later. Like, subscribe, and follow, or whatever the hell YouTube does. Okay, bye.